let's go, baby, on a Tuesday. Baseball and coffee. What's up, grounds crew? Hope everybody's good. 10:01, I have to close my door. Brett's having an event here today. There's like 18 women here right now doing embroidery, so it's kind of loud. I didn't realize how loud it was until I started the stream, but hope everybody's great. We had a kind of a brief night of baseball last night, so there's a couple things to dive into. I want to look at some Blue Jays stuff. I want to look at Jeff Hoffman. He's having a weird start to the season. I see Dalton Rushing requests in the chat. That seems like something worth digging into. I know he's been raking in cores this week. Is it fishy? Is it not fishy? I think that's a funny thing to talk about, but it's obviously not. So he's raking. It's all good. And Dodgers, I think they split the series, right? Quintana got crushed. Is that what happened yesterday? Wait, why am I opening Discord on my computer? I want Discord on my app here. Just making sure that's open. All right. Hope everybody's good. What's up, Phil? How we doing? I'm going to switch over to the Discord real quick, because we're going to look at this later. Highest BABIP minimum batters faced, thanks to Klein Bier. Look at Jeff Hoffman's BABIP right now. 571 last minimum 50 batters faced this year. That's like incomprehensibly high. So we'll get into him later, obviously. I want to look at some Blue Jays stuff since we have a little time today. But we get started with our standings. Hope everybody's good. A lot more series kickoff today. All right. Embroidery is what my mom would call bitch and stitch. I mean, that's kind of what it is. They're getting it done right now. They got a whole crew in there. They got pastries. Brett made me run around town, get all pastries and drinks and everything. So they're having a good, jolly old time, and I get to come hang out and talk baseball with you fellas. Gil should just stay home tonight. Go Sox. Yankees Sox kick off tonight. That's all starting today. The old rivalry renewed once again. Hope everybody's good. Hope everybody is good. All right, let's rock with the standings today. Tuesday. Oh, why is it saying Monday? Today's Tuesday. We need Tuesday. All right, whatever. I think these are up to date as far as I can tell. Yankees in first. 1 game up on the Rays, 13-9 record. They're the only team, and this shocked me, the only team in the AL East, which I think is going to be the best division in baseball, but it certainly hasn't been yet, with a positive run differential, plus 28. So that's crazy to see. Cleveland, 13-11, half game up on Detroit, 5.5 up on Kansas City, who's really struggling. They were within 1 strike of winning a couple times last night. I was actually watching that game. Can show you just how close the margin for error was in that one. In the West, the A's, with a negative 17 run differential, are in first place at 12-11. Wild to see. They beat the Mariners last night. Houston's in last, 9-15. Yeah, watching the Royals hurts so bad. I right now it does hurt. They looked, quite frankly, really bad versus the Yankees, and then last night they were 1 strike away a couple times in that outing by Urseg there at the end, and Basayo ends up coming up with the big hit. We'll talk about that at some point probably on the stream. All right, NL East, the Braves, best team in baseball at the moment, plus 62 run differential, killing everybody. They're in Washington tonight. They are 16-7, 5 games up already on the Marlins, as everybody else in the division is below 500. Mets obviously on the 11-game losing streak. Let's see if they can start to turn that around tonight with McLean on the mound versus the Twins. Reds 15-8 with a negative run differential in first place as well. Every team in this division is at least 3 games above 500, as you can see here. Brewers 12-9, pulling up the rear. I also have Lugo on the thumb today because I thought maybe we should take a peek at him as well. Dodgers 16-6. They go to play the Giants now, so that's another rivalry renewed here. 10 games up over 500 already. Rockies are in last at 9-14, but only 4.5 back. So biggest deficit at the moment is the Mets at 6 back. That's not that much. Just to keep it in perspective, it's pretty dang early to freak out about stuff. So, what is our plan today to get started? Who should I start with first today? I even have some prospects on here, some draft prospects to look at as well today if we want to dive into that. So let me see what I wrote to my buddy last night. Sal Stewart, Seth Lugo, Masataka Yoshida, Dylan Cease, Rhett Lowder, Matt Olson, couple prospects. I think we'll start with the Jays stuff because I want to get the Jays thing going early. And we'll start with Mr. Dylan Cease, who pitched last night. Obviously, there was a funny anecdote about the Blue Jays. I don't know if you guys saw this, but their plane broke down. So they elected to bus all the way to Anaheim from Arizona. Not necessarily close. I mean, nothing crazy. It's only like 5 hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours. I could be mistaken there. But either way, they did that. I know Cease was sent early. I know Schneider was saying that Scherzer should have just paid for a PJ for everybody. I agree with John there. You got the money, you got to spend it on the boys. So it was 7 hours. All right. Anyway, last night, Dylan Cease, absolute grind, 110 pitches, 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks. He did punch out 12 in this win. Jeff Hoffman in the 9th, 1 inning, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. We're going to investigate him as well today. I have to go on JD Bunkus at some point this week, and he wants to talk Hoffman, so I need to get educated a little bit. It's also hotter than hell in this room. All right, had to mess with the air conditioning. All right, here's the mix. Is Dylan Cease sticking with the approach, or is he reverting back? Let's see. 49 four-seamers, 27 sliders, so that makes up roughly 70% share of his pitches. That's better than the 85%, I'll say that. 11% changeup, 9% sweeper, 7% knuckle curve, 7% sinker. He has not thrown as many sinkers the last 2 starts as I expected. I think that's impacted his ability a little bit to get some quick outs. I mean, overall, he still punched 12 guys, and he's been great this year, regardless if he had to grind or not. I think another issue with this start looks like 50% first pitch strikes, so not dominating the count enough, not setting himself up for success as much as he used to, but he was able to stuff his way out of it. It was 37% whiff, including 50% on that slider, 50 on that changeup. I do like that he's throwing more changeups, too. And he averaged 98 on the heater last night, so plenty of velo here. To say the least, and I'm curious to kind of grind through this outing with him and see how it looked. And then we'll kind of, because we've been tracking Cease in spring training, so he's like must-see TV for me now every week, every 5th day. And it's too many pitches to watch every pitch, but I will watch how he got his outs. 3-1 sinker here to start the game to Neto. So there's been talk about to sinker or not to sinker. We talked about it with Crochet yesterday. I felt like he was throwing a lot of left on right sinkers. Ooh, doors up top to Trout. Let's watch this whole Trout at bat with a strikeout. Is he just going to spam the high heater, which would make sense with his fastball? 97 there. Sweeper there. That's going to be a challenge strike. And then 2-4 seams up. Good take away, and then he gets him at the top of the zone, so he's following the scouting report. It also plays into his strength. And then Shanuel's going to get a hit here on a 1-1 sweeper. Dylan Cease will throw the 2 nastiest pitches you've ever seen to get up 0-2, then 7 pitches later, you best believe you're walking back to the dugout, baby. Yeah, so he'll turn a 3-pitch strikeout into a 9-pitch strikeout. Here's a hit on a sweeper by Shanuel. I hesitate to even call this a sweeper because it has so much drop. So maybe a slurve, poorly located, gets the hit. And then here is how they're going to score that first run. Another sweeper getting banged into the left side. Ernie knocks it down, but it trickles into the outfield, allowing Shanuel to score. And they are on the board. Both hits coming on sweeper, and then he's going to punch out Moncada on a fastball down in. 2 former White Sox. He's challenging it. He's dead wrong. That's in there, and we are through 1 onto the 2nd inning. Here comes the 2nd strikeout. It is Joe Adell, 99, off the plate away. Swing through. Tons of right on left sinkers in the league right now. Must be something there the analysts like. See, I think that the sinker is a very useful pitch, but it's hard to imagine it being a primary pitch, right versus left or left versus right, which is... Somebody noted yesterday in the Discord or in my comments yesterday from Crochet that Crochet's now His number one usage 1-0 to righties is sinker, which I find odd. If you're looking for contact versus an opposite-handed hitter and your preferred, well, your nastier of your two fastballs is your four seam, why would you throw a lesser pitch in a swinging count? That to me doesn't make a lot of sense, and I'm Mr. Two fastballs. I love two fastballs. There's a nice slider there. I just think you have to pick your spots with that second fastball that's not as good. Like you pick your spot to either front door it, or you've thrown a ton of four-seamers in the at-bat and you think he's starting to adjust to that shape, and then you want to rip a sinker. But anyway, I like it. I love it same side, right on right, left on left. But when you're going to opposite-handed hitters, I think you have to be a little careful with your deployment. So anyway, that's my opinion on that. Cease seems to agree to me. He's throwing them only pretty much right on right. There's a walk. I wonder if Kirk would be more likely to try to hold Cease to the new game plan if he were out there. Yeah, I wonder how much Cease is dictating, how much he's not dictating. I mean, to be fair, I mean, he's trying here a little bit. Here's a sinker to Trout, which is something that, you know, would have been unimaginable for him to throw last year. He does get on the ground contact. Unfortunately, it's just a really hard play to make, and Mike's running well again. 9-pitch at-bat here, in-play run. So he was in trouble here in the second inning. Little sac fly to center. They've scored 2. He's thrown a lot of pitches. He's got some walks. Didn't look great early in this game, I would say. Not putting guys away, but then he starts putting guys away at a pretty crazy rate after that. Slider down. See you later, Soler. Here's another walk to Moncada on 3-2. So you see why the pitch count got so high. Interestingly, the Angels just did this to Michael King. Michael King just had basically the same start. It was like 1 or 2 runs, 5 innings, over 100 pitches. So are the Angels grinding guys down? Is that part of their MO? Anyway, here's a stuck slider on the outside corner. So Adele punches out both times. Let's see here. He was still throwing 99 his very last pitch of the outing. Impressive, 110 pitches total. Jays haven't had a guy like this in a long time. Oppo-handed sinkers are barrel finders. They stay on the bat plane. Very strange. Totally agree, Mitch, especially in a fastball count, like an advantage count where a guy's going to get his A swing off. A mistake with a sinker to an opposite-handed hitter could mean very loud in-the-air contact, home run contact with a lot of the scoops you see in the league. I understand now we're dealing with more bat tracking methods, so there's an understanding that sinkers will play to some guys opposite-handed hitters. I just find it weird to make that a strategy because in general, if you're going to feed sinkers to opposite-handed batters in, you know, swing counts where they can get their good swing out off, I don't think that's a good strategy. So that's what we saw a little bit with Crochet yesterday, which was confusing. But yeah, same-sided. I like it. Ooh, dotted away right there to Ohapi. I think during his last inning, Heineman ran to the mound as they were clearly on different pages. Here's another 7-pitch at-bat. This one he's going to finish with a changeup. This is a different version of the changeup, I want to say, that we saw towards the end of spring. This one's a lot slower. 81. He's shown an ability to throw a very slow changeup in the past, and I'm wondering if this is him maybe going back to that or a hybrid version of the new and the old. Either way, nice strikeout there. Utilization of the combio. Here's the 5th. Neto goes with it. This is 3rd time through. Neto goes with it. Line drive to right for a hit. Now he's going to punch Trout for the 2nd time. This time on a slider. Gets the rare chase from Mike Trout. Did he go, folks? Awfully close. Now, remember this visual because we're going to look at 2 swings Pete Alonso took last night as well that could have ended the game, but they said he did not go. 17% changeups versus left-handed hitters this year. That's a huge upgrade for him. I've been saying it since the offseason, since before. Yeah, that's the float changeup. He brought the float changeup back. Look at that. That he just needed to diversify a little bit more. As nasty as the 2 pitches are, if Cease wants to win a Cy Young, if he wants to be that ace for the Blue Jays, he needs to find a way to pitch deeper into games and be a little more consistent. So give him some more weapons. And to his credit, he's really done that and ran with it pretty steadily. Now in this game, yeah, I mean, he did throw a lot of fastballs and sliders, but what are you going to do? I mean, sometimes you got to go with the bread and butter. That was 99-1 as he punches out Soler, I believe, all 3 times? Oh, no, Soler got a hit early. I'm thinking of Adele. That's 99 down, dotted. So, I mean, I'm still really, really high on Cease. I know this was a grinded out game, but anytime you can punch out 12 guys in 5 innings, I'm a fan of that. And on the season, he's been nothing short of spectacular so far. Through 5 starts, 2.10 ERA, 1-0, 44 punch-outs in 25 innings. The whip's at 1.29. I expect that number to come down as he continues to get some more quick outs and not go so deep and have some more walks. But, you know, last 2 starts were kind of the good side of Dylan Cease over the past few years, whereas I thought he was even better in his first 3 starts. But we'll continue tracking him. You know, the pitch mix, you just got to stay away from letting it be all 4-seam slider. I like the additions. I'd like to see each of those tick up just a hair, get closer to 10% each. But you just pitch the way the game dictates. You don't try to stretch for it if you don't have to. But he's looking good. He throws so hard. How does he throw so hard? 27 K per walk, K to walk ratio. That'll play. Hell yeah, that'll play. That's Cy Young stuff. So far he is absolutely worth his money. 100% correct about that. And then Vladdy listened to my stream yesterday and didn't like that I talked about how he didn't hit any bombs yet because he goes yard piece in this one. 3 for 4, by the way. All right, we'll watch all the contacts. Here's the first single. As I've been talking about how he's getting into like a Miguel Cabrera style of hitter now, where he's finding a way to get hits, even with weak contact. He's not necessarily, fast, so he's not getting any infield hits. So all of his hits are super legit. And his bat path kind of allows him a lot of adjustability. He can get those fillets to right like we just saw, but then he can also drop the head on some shit like this changeup right here. Let's see it. Kaboom! Dead center into the trees. Almost to the turf. 107 at 28, 430 feet. Second homer of the year. We've been waiting on him for a while to hit another bomb because he's been off to a great start minus the power department. But, you know, it's just like I think he's just decided that he's going to be a great all-around hitter and not sell out for homers, and he has the ability to do that. It's a rare ability to do that, but he's really come into his own. And I love that he sat back on a changeup here. What was the first pitch in this at-bat? 4-seam? That did nothing for him. And then changeup, he just sits back. Really nice job. Really nice job. Really nice swing. So they got him rolling. They're starting to play a little bit better, in my opinion. And then he gets another hit here on a changeup from Reed Detmer. So 3 for 3 off Reed. As he hammers that through the hole, too. That was hit hard, right? 104.5 at 2 degrees. So sits back on 2 changeups, gets jammed on a fastball, and fillets it. And that's why a lot of great hitters will say it's okay to get jammed at the plate. That's going to allow you to stay back on some things. There's a lot of hits when you get jammed and flip them to the other side. So getting jammed is not always a bad thing. To me, sometimes it's the sign of a good hitter, a hitter that's hanging in there, a hitter that's not freaking out. Any chance those long at-bats, it's a matter of being timed up with Cease's delivery, so he improvised on the fly? Yeah, I mean, a little bit. The only reason that he gets dragged out to long at-bats is because his 4-seam, Cease, who I'm talking about here, his 4-seam and his slider are so nasty. They generate so much whiff, but they also generate a ton of foul ball. Like a really close to a whiff is like that skimmed foul ball. And a lot of times, if a guy's a little bit less nasty, those are pop-ups, so those are ground balls. And, you know, they're not long at-bats. So even though he gets a lot of whiff, he doesn't get as much ball in play, which at times leads to the longer at-bat. And to me, that's kind of, you know, a catch-22 of being so nasty sometimes. I would equate that a lot to Blake Snell as well. Blake Snell has a little bit of the elevated walk rate. I would argue that it's an inability of guys to put the ball in play against him a lot of times that drags him into a 3-2 count and eventually a walk. I know that's a little bit counterintuitive, but that's kind of how I feel about it. Man, we're so lucky to have Vlad for the rest of his career. Is his swing significantly different than the year he hit 48? Well, I don't think we're going to have bat tracking for Vlad. Hold on. Let me go to reference real quick. Was that in 21? Because he was incredible in 21. I remember him destroying us with the Red Sox. He had 48 bombs in 21, yeah. We're not going to have bat tracking probably for 21. I think bat tracking only goes back to, unfortunately, 23. So I can't tell you if his swing's much different. But I mean, even that year, 311 batting average. Like, he doesn't do it with low batting average. He's a 290 career hitter with no speed. So to me, he's awesome. He's awesome. He heard everyone in the stream talking shit. What are the odds when it's all said and done, Vladito has a better career than his pops? I'm going to say no. I mean, probably no, because he's not going to be able to match him on defense. But also, I mean, it's a pretty high bar to clear. Let's see where he's at right now. 27 years old, 26.8 WAR. 27 years old, 26.8 WAR, and that's going to go up. And then Vlad Guerrero himself got to 59 WAR. I mean, maybe he's got a shot to outplay him longevity wise. And his pops did start to really decline. It looks like, I mean, he still put up big OPSs, but his WAR totals got a lot smaller, come 08, 09. So maybe he's got a shot. Maybe he's got a shot to pass him. I'd be curious what you guys think. You think he can pass him? I've had the pleasure to watch Vladdy since his 19 in his debut. He's come such a long way. A real treat for us Blue Jay fans. Keep up the great work, AO. I will say this. I used to fucking dominate this guy at the beginning. Like in 19, he had no idea about sequencing or tunneling. He was just seeing the ball, hitting the ball with immense talent. But like a veteran could pick him apart. By the time 2020 came around, that's so 1 year later, he was way better. Like he learned so fast. He was a quick study. And so to me, that's the biggest factor always. And if you're going to eventually reach your ceiling is how quickly you learn, how quickly you can improve. And he impressed me a ton with how quickly he improved and how he came back with a new game plan against me and others very, very fast. So that's obviously, we all know he's great, but to me, that's a big deal. It's how quickly you can bounce back and improve. Vlad Sr. had a cannon for arm, but Junior's the only one with a gold glove. And Vlad Jr. started way earlier than Vlad Sr. He can. I do think that by the numbers, I think you guys are right. I just assumed that Pops had 80 WAR, but he's only had 59 WAR, and, he's got more years on his contract than years left that Pops played. Pretty good chance he's going to pass him in WAR. Pretty good chance. Will he catch him in some of the counting stats? That's a good question. 449 homers, I don't know. Career 318 average, I don't know, but he plays in a different environment, right? So I think that's, there's a little bit of nuance there. All right, another Blue Jay player that we have to check in on is Jeff Hoffman. Look, he's got a 6.97 ERA through 10 innings. He's got 23 freaking strikeouts, somehow a 1.94 whip. And the somehow, which we just covered, is this BABIP situation. 571 BABIP is literally, it's just impossible. I don't care how hard you're getting hit. I don't care about any of you should be in the 300 range at least to 350. Like, that's bad. 350 is a bad year of BABIP. Like, I think my career high is like 360 something. But 571 is just a joke. So obviously some stuff's happening. Baseball Savant is saying that they should absolutely be trusting him. I mean, he's got 100th percentile whiff. He's got the most whiff in the game per pitch. I think that, it's just intriguing. You look back to his season last year too, where he ended up being the closer all year with 33 saves. Still a 4.37 ERA, so he's not infallible. And it does seem like his mistakes are magnified quite a bit. And obviously, this is one of those scenarios where if I were him and people asked me how I'm pitching, I would say, feel like I'm pitching well, but I'm also giving up too many damn runs. Both can be true. So why is he giving up so many runs? Because he's striking out the world. The walk rate is bad, but not that bad. 11.5%. I mean, he's killing it in every metric you would want. Ground balls are good, so that shouldn't be slug. Hard hits, weak. I mean, the chase, the K, it's all there. The velocity is good, right? Averaging 96.7 this year at, 15 and 13. What did he average last season? He had a better four-seam last year, 17 and 12. So maybe the four-seam's not quite getting over the bat as well, perhaps. But I do think for the Blue Jays bullpen, looking at the construction of it, I like Varland in the fireman role. And I like Hoffman in the closing role. I guess the only question is there that scar tissue from, essentially blowing the last game of the World Series and a couple of the games early this year? When the games get tight, does that creep into your psychology? If that's the case, then yeah, you want to get him out of the closer role for a little bit and get him settled where he can put that out of his mind. Because inevitably, and I know this as a leading reliever, your failures usually lead to the team losing. They usually lead to the team losing. So that can be tough. That type of PTSD just like kind of stacks up in your brain. And sometimes it's hard to cope with. I'm not going to lie. And in a close game, you can get a little tight. I don't know if that's happening to Jeff or not, but I do think their bullpen functions the best for winning baseball games if he's closing and they can unleash this beast whenever they want to. In Louis Varland, he's given up 0 runs on the year. He's coming off a great year last year, plus postseason, so he's absolutely feeling it. You see these numbers. He's their best reliever. So in the old era, he would 100% be the closer. But right now, I still think it makes sense for them to stick with Hoffman. I don't like the idea of Rogers as closer. And overall, that's kind of how I feel. Let's watch Jeff from last night and just take a quick look at the stuff. He gives up a leadoff hit to Joe Adele, but he does punch the side. So let's check out Jeff, who was a former teammate of mine. And I have to say, of all the people that I've played with, I don't like to be condescending or like be that old head. But with Jeff, I really do feel it. And what I mean is I feel proud of him because Jeff had a bad mindset when he first got up to the big leagues with the Rockies. He was thinking about all the wrong shit. He wasn't locked in. He wasn't mature yet. He hadn't gotten there yet. But to his credit, he dug deep over the next 5 or 6 years and really became a guy. Like, he went and got himself figured out. He converted to the bullpen. He went to Driveline. Like, he went and, invested in himself and figured out how to be nastier. Like, this split he has a nasty split, which he didn't have when I played with him. He had a big curveball that was nasty, and he always threw hard and had the perfect pitcher's body. So we all knew the talent was there, but for a long time I wondered if the cabeza was going to come around. But I'm so proud of him that it has come around, and he's been on a freaking dominant run for a long time. I mean, I know that the ERA doesn't say that, but think about it. He shoved at the end of his tenure with the Reds. They didn't give a crap about that. Then with the Phillies, he was dynamic for 2 years with the Phillies, minus a couple of, minor tough moments in the postseason, which every reliever goes through if you're not going to win the World Series. And then the Jays, he signed him for huge money. And he's been the closer ever since. So he's punching tickets. He's a baseball savant darling. This is 97 at the bottom, Freeze City all day long. There's a lot going on with him that I'm super proud of. Like, I'm proud he became this pitcher. I'm proud that, he was able to take care of his family and put them in a great spot. He's got a great family, great kids, great wife, all that. And he's just a good dude who was struggling to figure it out at first. Shell shock trade, second year of his career from Toronto to Colorado. So I just think a lot was going on early in his career, which a lot of people are dealing with, trying to figure out the big leagues, but they're so young and they don't really have their head screwed on right. But for him to come out the other side is awesome to watch. And, you see it. He's freaking gross. 100th percentile chase is no joke. That means people think that you're throwing a strike, and by the time it reaches the plate, they are wrong. So that's what he's got going for him. Also, good job by him here to give up a leadoff hit and just not care and bear down and keep making pitches. So he's going to make 2 pitches here. Here's a fastball. There's no way his fastball had 3,000 spin. 3,000 spin, by the way, but or the spin rate's all messed up in this game. Anyway, here's the game. 4-seam up, 98. I mean, the gas is there. The stuff's there. It's always been there, and it's really been there the last few years. If I'm a Blue Jays fan, I got to believe this is going to turn around. He's going to go on a run of at some point, over 10 games, no runs in a row, get his numbers back into respectability, and then we'll go from there. That would be my mind, what we can expect from Mr. Jeff Hoffman. Kind of curious real quick to look at Jeff this year and just where his pitches are going. Really good locations on the slider. These are the sliders away from righties. I mean, everything away pretty much. A couple backups, but they're not in the zone. Really good chase pitches. All the splitters to righty below the zone or out of the zone. So that's good. These are his sinkers in on righties. That's a beautiful lane right there. Let's see about the four-seamers. Probably going to be mostly up and away, I would imagine. Wow, look at that. Spamming the top. I mean, that's great command. That's great. That's great command. That's great command on a fastball. This bottom chart continues to be ridiculous, so I don't want to edit it again. But anyway, that's him versus righties. So all that looks good. He's getting a little screwed with his contact, but Jays want to get back in this thing. Where are they at right now? 9-13, -23, but they have won 2 in a row. They're going to need their bullpen to be locked down every time they do have the lead. And I think it's Varland, it's Rogers, right now it's Fluharty a little bit, it's Hoffman, and then eventually they get Yimi Garcia back, and then we'll see about how it all lines up. All right. Here we go. It's tough for Hoffman because he has to be perfect every night, or in the eyes of the fans, he will be just known as the guy who blew the save in Game 7 to a 9-hitter. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. If I blew Game 7 of the World Series with a home run to Miggy Rowe, I don't know how I would handle that. That's really hard to do. That's really hard to cope with, Really hard to cope with. You're always going to think about the what-ifs in that situation. So it's impressive that he's still going out there with confidence and doing his thing, but that could be a crippler for you. There's no doubt about it. Do hitters sell out going for homers versus Hoffman due to his stats? I do think that they try to ambush a lot because they know that strikeouts in his game. So I feel like there's that. And then there's a little bit of this. Like in that Miggy Rowe home run, he hung that slider. He did. But, a lot of people hang sliders. Sometimes you just get away with them. Every underline stat shows he's a stud. What is BABIP? Batting average on balls in play. This is considered a stat that normalizes around 300. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people are inherently good at this or bad at this based on the quality of contact they allow. But in general, nobody should have a 500 or above batting average on every ball that's hit in play, which is what Jeff has right now. I did see Rico Garcia has been insane so far. He's got a 10-inning no-hitter with no inherited runs so far, so crazy. Hoffman was looking like a failed prospect when he was traded to Colorado. Well, he had Tommy John in the draft year out of ECU, so nobody really knew what he was yet. The Blue Jays were kind of rehabbing him through that first year when he got traded over for Tulo. From watching him this season, it feels like if you can start at-bats 0-1, he'll get the out. That's just a big if. Yeah, let's take a quick look at Jeff's first pitch strikes, because I never really considered that this year. Let's see where he's at on first pitch strikes, because it's so silly, because this is like literally, yeah, you're totally right. This is like one of the most important stats in the game, and it's so simple. Just throwing strike one. Really, it's 2 out of the first 3, but just throwing strike one, how it changes your outcomes is just beyond. It's ridiculous. It makes it seem like it's the only thing that matters if you look at the stats. But it does matter a lot. Here's his first pitch strikes per year. Right now, he's not anywhere near where he was the previous 3 years. So you're right. 54.9, that's well below average. That's not good enough. He's getting himself in some bad counts. That's something that he's doing that's not good. Everything else in terms of what he's throwing up there, Savant's showing us is pretty quality, but the first pitch strikes, yeah, he's got to get a lot better than that. There's no way around it. 100% facts on that. This is also interesting though that I just saw it and I didn't know this and I don't know what to make of it. We've had a lot of this going on. Arm angle changed down to 30 degrees. That's a big departure from before. 30-degree arm angle. He was at 37, so it's been trending downward. That's a big difference. Don't know if that's good thing, bad thing, anything. I mean, he's still got 98% active spin on his fastball from a lower slot, so it should make the fastball play up. But that makes sense why the four-seam vertical break is so wonky. Like this year last year he had 17.4 on the four-seam. This year it's 15.6, but I would imagine the VAA is better from the lower slot, although I don't know. That's an inherently different fastball. That's something interesting to look at. And so far that fastball has gotten smashed. 350, I mean, maybe not hard contact, but for an average, 357. Does have 39% whiff, which is better than last year's 24% whiff. But I guess we'll just have to see if how the fastball plays the rest of this year. But to be fair, it was the same deal last year. -6 run value on fastball last year. So Don't know what to make of that yet. Don't know what to make of that yet. All right, let me get back to the chat, and we'll go look at something else. We just did a whole bunch of Blue Jays stuff. Sure, he gave it the lead in Game 7, but end of the day, it's a fluke. Everything lining up for Miggy Rowe can't hold it against him the rest of his career. No, but unfortunately, it will be held against him the rest of his career. That's just reality. You know, Mitch Williams, that's what I think about. He's probably a pretty good relief pitcher. All I think about is a home run to Joe Carter. You know, playoff success really can define you or break you. I mean, I had none of it. People think I sucked. So, you know, that's just reality. I had a dentist when I was younger, Dr. Hoffman. He wasn't a great guy. That's super weird. All right. 8 straight scoreless innings, which he did several times last year, gets him back under 4. What's the Adam Ottavino opinion? Does the Mets streak losing streak end tonight? I do. I think they win tonight. I think McLean throws a gem. I think Alvarez does something good at the plate. Soto might be back or no, pretty soon. And I think that they roll to like a 5-0 victory tonight versus Minnesota in the cold. If we're relitigating Game 7, should have never been a slider. Yeah, we've already talked about that. He should have definitely. I mean, he didn't read that at bat very well, but that's a whole nother thing. You know, could be a crippler, could be something that locks a guy into getting that ring to erase those what ifs. I mean, I'm sure it's in the back of his mind. Redemption, redemption, redemption. Like, let me get another chance. Let me get another chance. That's the way I always felt when I struggled. Like, it wouldn't cripple me forever. I would be like kind of in the dumps like that happened, but then I'd always be like, I just need another shot. I need another shot. And hopefully that's what he's thinking. And then he'll maybe he'll care, you know. All right. Oh, did you like this? This was fun. We went over pitch grips with me and D. Me and Dellin, he does a spiked curveball back in the day that never felt comfortable to me. It seems like a lot of players are dropping their arm angle to get better movement profiles. I think that's part of it. I think there's a health component. It's also just a human component. You're always kind of drifting one way or the other. You know, what's interesting is randomly here is Verlander went from low to high in his career, which you almost never see. So pretty weird. Bill Buckner is a perfect example. Bill Buckner was quality player for 20 years in this league, but you can only remember one thing about him, right? So again, it's a big deal. It's a big deal, but he's going to yeah, Buckner let the ball through his legs in the World Series against the Mets in '86. So that's the thing. Like, these moments, they do tend to linger a little bit. Hopefully he can get a new moment and get that redemption, and then everybody will forget about the other thing before. You know, I think about even like a guy like David Price, who people were crapping on for years. He had his moment where he shoved in the World Series in 18, and then it was kind of like people were like, okay, you got the job done. All right, what's the stadium in Queens gonna sound like as the game starts tonight? Probably quiet, and I would imagine if the Mets go 1-2-3 in the first, you'll hear the Boo Birds pretty good. But I don't think it's gonna be a huge crowd tonight. I think the Mets fans are not gonna show out tonight. It's already kind of cold, school night. They're not playing well. I think it'll be sparse. I think the crowd will be sparse. Now, I could be wrong. Hopefully the fans show up and they rally around this team, but my guess is it'll be a smaller crowd today. Well, it's almost always your body. It's always almost your posture that changes your arm angle. Almost always. You know, there's usually a normal spot you want your arm to come through, but then it's like, how much trunk, you know, movement do you have? Ooh, $5 Tuesday, though, so maybe that changes the equation a little bit. Yeah, maybe you're right, Maya. All right, there was a request put in to look at Mr. Dalton Rushing, who, you know, was in the news for all the wrong reasons the other day. But, man, ain't no denying it. In 28 plate appearances, the man has gone off. 7 home runs in 28 plate appearances? Are you shitting me? 444, 464, 1296. Will Smith, watch out. Dalton Rushing is here. 1760 OPS. Are you kidding me? Another guy with one of those Schwarber, Garrett Mitchell, Nick Kurtz-ish Savant pages. Below average amount of whiff, K, walk, but everything else is coming up rosies in the early going. Dalton Crushing. I like that name. That's fire. What is the lowdown on the Mets clubhouse? I don't know because I'm not in there anymore, so I don't get to speculate on that anymore. Anyway, Dalton Crushing. All right, Dalton Crushing. Let's watch the man crush. Played last night. It was rock show and Doyers from 20th and Blake. Dalton Rushing, 2 for 5. 2 home runs late in the game off of Gordon. He did strike out twice versus Quintana. All right, let's watch the 2 home run at-bats. One's a first pitch ambush on a 89-mile-an-hour heater. Ooh, Oppo Taco. Is this a Coors Field home run? You bet it. You bet it is. 98 at 31 to left, so it's not always how you hit him, it's where you hit him and the moments, and he'll take it. Nice shot to left for Rushing there. And then his last at-bat, he's going to homer as well off the same pitcher. Tanner Gordon, first pitch changeup, strike. Second pitch slider here. Ball 2. And slider here, kaboom. Sends it out into my old bullpen. Dodgers go up 12-2. Dalton Rushing, home run number 7. 102.3 at 28 over the Jeff Bradish barrier. That's this fencing right here. This is the Bradish barrier. This didn't exist for a while. They put that up there. It was Jeff Bradish. He was the GM at the time, so that's the Bradish barrier. Goes over the wall for the homer. Dalton Rushing. See him from the side. Little scoop action. Whoop. He's a little ball of muscle, huh? I bet he's got some serious dieselness underneath that jersey. Let's see his other bombs. Let's watch all the bombs. Here's the grand slam off Devin Williams. This was a changeup down the middle. Slammed out to center. He's just like a little ball of muscle. I wonder if the ABS really helps a guy like this too. Like, you know, the strike zone. You know, kind of the whole thing. This is a homer off of Feltner early in the year, of course. So they've already been to Coors twice already, huh? Or this was this series. Rushing down the line. That's kind of a Coors home run. So taking advantage of his time at Coors. Here's a left on left off of Poulin. He's got that homer swing dialed in.
Dalton Rushing sends one into the Nats bullpen. And Nats 5-run lead is trimmed to 3 on Rushing's first home run of the season.
He's playing first base now because the Dodgers just can, apparently. So he's not really catching. They're playing him a lot at first. Here's a home run in Toronto. He's hitting a lot of these in garbage time, to be fair. But they're still bombs. Bombs are bombs. They're going to count on his baseball card. And right now, I mean, on a per-at-bat basis, he's the best power hitter in baseball. So, yeah, it's a good place to be. I think this is the last one we haven't watched yet. Another garbage time home run, but still. Breaking ball down. Smash City. So I don't know. What's Dalton Rushing's pedigree like? Was he like a huge prospect for a while? He went to Louisville too? So both catchers are from Louisville? Will Smith and Dalton Rushing? They have a catching freaking factory over there. Henry Davis. I think there's some others. That's pretty amazing. All right, what else we got here? Quintana's balk was on Shohei's second or third at-bat. What are we looking at here? Quintana balked in Shohei's second or third at-bats. We'll just go to Shohei. I don't think it's here because there's nobody on base, so it's probably the third at-bat. So there's a balk in here somewhere. Oh, yeah. There was a whole pitch wiped out, right? And then it would have been a double play, but he had balked. And it was right before this. So I bet you I can find it on the highlights somewhere. And then they end up not cashing in the runs. Let me look for that. Let me look for that real quick. Should be on the highlights, right? I saw a glimpse of it on my phone this morning, so I do know what you guys are talking about. All right, April 20th, Dodgers, highlights. All right, let's see here. No, this is the wrong game. Highlights. Here it is. This is a 27-second highlight, so I'm not sure what the balk was yet. It would have been an inning-ending double play, but he had called the balk. Was it that he didn't come stopped? Here it is. Oh, so he threw out of the windup, and had he been throwing out of the stretch? So he had announced that he was throwing out of the stretch, and then he goes out of the windup. Is that what happened here? That's what I'm thinking happened here. Sucks, though. He probably just had a brain fart, and it cost him 2 outs and runs. So that kind of sucks. Let me just double check that. Like, he was out of the stretch previously in this at-bat? Yeah. So that's what happened. Stretch, and then he goes wind up 2-0, but doesn't tell any umpire, and then he gets called for the balk. I think that's what happened there. That kind of sucks. It kind of sucks. Do the Giants have any chance of not getting swept by the Dodgers? Of course, it's baseball. You never know. Shit happens. Freddie on the paternity list. I know that. That's why he's playing first base right now. Got it. This is your case. If you play good enough, they will have to find a way to get you in the lineup. I mean, I'd be surprised if Dalton Rushing's not in the lineup this next game, the way he's swinging it, you know? I think the balk was a hybrid windup stretch to not declare the situation. Yeah, that's what we just diagnosed. I think that's right. I saw Tom Tango tweeting about getting rid of the balk and just having a pickoff rule. Think there's any legs to that? I don't know. Some balks are dumb. But I don't know. I've been used to that for a while. Even Muncy knew it was a balk. So you know what's interesting? If the pitcher balks, it's sort of like a like when the whistle blows in football, but the play is still going. You get the free shot to go deep. It's the same thing when you're hitting. If they call balk, but he throws that pitch, you have the option to swing like Shohei did. If you hit a home run, you could keep the home run, but if you don't, then you can take it away and get your pitch again. So it's kind of a free swing. So if you're on the offensive side, you have to swing at that pitch no matter what. Shohei swung at that pitch off the corner and ended up getting out. But, you know, pretty crazy. Is Kyle Bradish washed? Definitely not. I know he didn't pitch well yesterday in the Royals game, which is where we can head to next. We can head to the Royals game next. This was last night. Dalton Rushing, I know I didn't look any further in it, but he's been playing good, so hopefully he keeps going. Baltimore, Kansas City, 7-5. This game was a freaking mess. 1-0 into the ninth. Really, 2 outs in the ninth. Bradish ends up going 5 1/3, 10 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, a home run, 3.96. So he grinded through this only to give up the 1 run, huh? On the flip side, Lugo, 7 innings, 1 hit, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. He has now a 1.15 ERA on the season. Really freaking good. Really freaking good here. All right, what's going on with Bradish? Haven't really checked out Bradish much. We know that he came back from elbow surgery. Everybody expects him to be the ace, including myself. You know, I've always been a big fan of I'm just laughing at something. Always been a big fan of Bradish. I think he's filthy, but you know, baseball is one of those sports where you got to take care of the fundamentals. 52% first pitch strike, not high enough. He does get a lot of chase, but he wiggled through this one a little bit. So let's watch both pitchers in this game pretty quick, and then I want to look at the ninth inning, which got interesting. All right, Baltimore and Kansas City. Who, man, poor Kansas City. They can't get a dub right now, even when they play a pretty solid game. All right, so let's see Bradish tiptoe through this. Michael Garcia.
Little over a strikeout per inning.
Base hit up the middle. If you're playing the Royals right now, it's all about the first two batters in the lineup, Garcia and Witt. Other than that, they're not doing anything. So you get to keep those guys off the bag, you're going to be all right. Wow, big time hanging slider right here, right down the middle, and he swings under it. You don't see that too often. Then a walk to Vinny. Command not looking great. And then another hit here by Salvi. Infield hit by Salvi. Almost never see it, but that's because they don't make the play. Blaze Alexander, bases chucked. In play outs coming here from Carter Jensen. And it's going to be a beautiful double play to save the day. Bases loaded, one out. Good hitter at the plate. Double play. What a gift. And this was pretty ballsy to go to second here. Not to go to second, but the throwback had to be tight, and Gunnar does a good job with that. So he's through one.
I think it's growing on him too. In the air to left.
Four seam up.
Taylor Ward drifts back.
Fly out to left. In play runs. Here's the home run. This was the home run by Cags. First of the year. I've been waiting for him to connect on a ball. This guy is a freak. He just, to me, he's still just getting used to how he's being pitched in MLB. But he's another one with massive upside. Just look at this. This is 109.7, dead to center. Here's the whole at bat. He needs to stop doing that. Auto swinging, auto taking. But when he connects, it's honestly, it's in the top 10 guys in baseball. This ball's smushed. I mean, basically 400 and how many feet? 437 feet. Really nice swing. Cags from the side. That's basically a line drive, too. Only 25 degrees. That ball's smacked. All right, next batter. So that's the only run.
That just feels cathartic.
Witt, Garcia, Vinny, Salvi, Jensen, and Cags is up there for me. I picked the Royals to potentially win or be second place in this division. But right now, they have nobody hitting except for Michael Garcia and Bobby Witt. That's their biggest issue. They're an absolute black hole in the middle and bottom of the order right now. I don't think that will continue. These guys have a lot of talent. Nice comeback sinker right there from Bradish. But I do think that that's just the reality at the moment, so it's tough. Yep, there's that Garcia guy, line drive to left. I told you he's swinging it well. And then here's a strikeout of Bobby on a curveball. Not a strikeout, but a pop-up. That's nasty, though. Bradish's breaking balls are so good. And to me, that's why I put him up there. Yeah, just not getting ahead of enough hitters. Couple walks, just making life harder on himself. Little bleeder there. Good job by Salvi sticking the bat out. Bobby Witt still doesn't have a home run this year. He needs to be better too. He does. I mean, he's not up to his standards yet. But at least he's got like a 7-something OPS. At least he's getting on base. They just need everybody else. All right, so now we have a bases loaded, no out situation that they're not going to score in. Let's see what happens here. Ground ball back to the pitcher. He'll go home for one. They go to first, safe. And then a strikeout of Caglione in a big spot. So here's a big moment for Jack. So let me watch this whole at-bat and see how they pitch him. All right, slider. Go right to the chase. Doesn't get it. Curveball again. Can't swing at that. Big chase. A lot of auto swinging by Jack, and that's my only critique of him right now. He's got such a great swing, but you can't come in this at-bat and swing at 2 balls in the first 3 pitches and get Bradish into a good moment here. That was nasty. Another curveball down. This time he lays off, and then he gets him with the slider. So he pairs his 2 breaking balls, kind of goes back and forth with them, and ends up punching Cags on the back. It's not even back foot. Down in slider. In a bubble, this ball could maybe be crushed, but he puts it right on the corner. I mean, that's a pretty damn good spot. So exposes him with a little bit of over aggressiveness, and then he's going to have to face Collins here to get out of the inning. First pitch, sinker, strike. Curveball here. Swing over the top. See, Bradish's breaking stuff is still nasty, but Royals getting a little over aggressive here in early counts, honestly. Then he punches his way out of that with the slider. Those were huge. Royals win this game if they get to run that inning. Fortunately, they didn't. All right, still the 4th inning. See how this one goes. Called strikeout on a sinker. He's been getting better at this pitch, too. His doesn't sink, but it runs a ton. He's got 16.4 vert, but it's got good run to it relative to his 4, so it locks a lot of guys up. This is a good sign. He doesn't have his command yet, but this pitch is going to serve him well moving forward. Garcia with a 3rd hit. Infield chopper. That's frustrating. Had it in the hand. All right, Bobby Witt, slider. There's Bobby. So again, Garcia and Witt, another 2 guys on base. This was a grind. All right, Vinny. Sinker coming. Chopper. This time he does make the play. That's 2 outs. Watch out, Pete. And then he's going to get Salvi out. Sinker in. Almost clipped him, but that's deep out there. 103-4-33. Man, it's a good swing. He just hits it to the deep part of the park. This is a good pitch, too. Good pitch, almost better swing. All right, 5th inning. In-play outs coming here. Bradish, 3.49 FIP, 4.68 ERA. Yep. I mean, it looks like he's doing a lot right. I still see the swing and miss ability in here. I'm seeing nasty breaking balls. I'm seeing a new sinker that looks like, I mean, that's beautiful right there. So I think Bradish is not cooked. I think he's far from washed. I think he'll be fine. There's a walk to Cags. You see the respect, though? 3-0 breaking ball.
So now the payoff.
Another hit here.
Back up the middle. A base hit for
How does he get bailed out of this inning? Is it Rico?
Tag stops at second.
This is his last batter, and he does get the strikeout here. It's going to be another chase below the dirt. I continue to contend that his breaking stuff is top 10 in the league, especially for a starter. It's the high release and how good he is at burying them. Look at this curveball. It's perfect.
Full swing, full miss.
How did they wiggle out of this? So I didn't watch this. It was Rico Garcia. This guy's been one of the best pitchers in the game. I think he's 5th in ex-WOBA right now. So he comes in for 4th time through the lineup, immediately gets a pop-up and a slider in the middle of the plate to Michael Garcia, and then he's going to walk Bobby to load the bases. I think this might be his first base runner of the year. And then he's going to punch out Vinny. Let's watch this whole at-bat. Perfect fastball with 21 vert dotted in, strike 1. Change up off that. He's got the float change. Ooh, good pick by Basayo. Going to go right back to that again. Oof, the high flow change. Vinny's early on it. Wow. All right, changeup coming again on 1-2. Ooh. Just gets him out front, and then he's going to strike him out on a curveball. 87-mile-an-hour curveball, though. Nasty. And this guy's been a freaking revelation to start the year for the Orioles. They would not be doing very well without Rico.
And it continues to be.
Nasty pitch right there. I love his curveball. Holy shnikes, what a curveball. This is what I was talking about. Check out Rico's percentiles right now. 11 innings, 0 runs. Got 11 punches and a .36 whip and a save. Everything coming up roses except for Chase, but that's fine. I had my career year with no Chase. No extension. He's got too many walks, I guess, so he has walked a few guys. But he's not getting hit right now, so off to a hell of a start. Yeah, former Mets had him last year, so we'll see how that goes. Now, I wanted to watch the 9th inning of this game because it was pretty interesting. Urseg in the ball game. And there's just a lot going on here. A lot of challenges, a lot of everything. He walks the leadoff hitter and then immediately picks him off. So he walks Gunnar and then immediately picks him off right here. So gets a gift of the first out. That was the second time Gunnar got picked off in the game, by the way. Ends up walking Taylor Ward. Now, we should just watch all these pitches because there are so many close pitches in this game. Look at that. Just an inch off the corner. Just watch how on the edge everything is in this inning from Urseg and how close and how great the takes were and how interesting it was with the challenges. Like, there was so much going on here in this ninth. Sinker in. He challenges it, but that's dotted to get back to 2-1. Taylor Ward is 100th percentile in chase rate right now, so he's not swinging at balls. That's also a strike.
2-2.
Didn't want to chase back-to-back pitches and challenge and shouldn't have. That got him to 2-2. And then watch these. Really good take. Holds up. Yep, good hold up. Next pitch. Four seam. Stays alive. Four seam. 100-mile-an-hour four seam, by the way. Stays alive. And then he walks him on 3-2. So a tremendous at-bat by Taylor Ward, who I mentioned is 100th percentile in chase rate. That kind of plays out there. So they walk the first two batters. That gets another guy on. And then he gets what he wants here. He gets the ground ball, but Beavers is too fast. So they can't turn two. They tried, but they couldn't turn two. And then this is where it gets real interesting. Here's the at-bat versus Pete. There's multiple check swings in this at-bat that are sketchy. First pitch fly ball pretty deep down the line for strike one. Here's the second pitch. Almost kills him. A lot of people try to pitch up in. Sinker coming here. Now he's one strike away. One strike away from the victory. And then watch how close everything is here. Check swing. They say no. What do you guys think? I say no, but it's awfully close. So that would have ended the game, but no. Very next pitch. Slider for Chase. Pete checks again. They check. And they say no. What do we think about this one? Ooh, I think he might have went on this one. But again, it's basically the same. It's insanely close. Insanely close. So, again, one strike away from winning the game. Doesn't get either of those. And then I think Pete makes a great take here on 3-2. Yeah, I mean, with that sinker riding in on him. Great take by Pete there. So he walks. Third walk of the inning. And now it's up to Mr. Basayo, who he gets ahead of again with two strikes. Slider backdoor, gets the call. He goes to challenge. Guess what? They don't have any challenges left. So that stays a strike. Strike one. So Basayo already down in the count here due to the poor call. Then he chases below, and they're one strike away again. And here we go. Challenge, change up down, unbelievable take. They challenge it to try to end the game on a challenge, which is, I think, smart because it's leverage, but doesn't quite get it. So, I mean, I'm telling you, the margin in this game was so tight. If you're Urseg, you got to feel like you threw a lot of good pitches. Enough pitches certainly to end the game, but then unfortunately the at-bat continues, and then he just throws a heater down the middle. I love the swing here by Samuel, staying with it, lasers it to left. That's a tie game. I've been high on him. I know he's got like a 100 batting average, but I love the swing of Basayo. Great job staying on it. Poor execution with two strikes. It's kind of what gets Urseg here a little bit. Man. And that ended up sending them to extra innings where the Orioles would eventually win this game and break the hearts of the Royals. You know, one strike away on several occasions to get the job done. Here's the swing by Basayo. I love this swing. Very head down, very through the ball. Just a poor location on a fastball. Ends up getting the next batter out pretty easily, and then the game had to continue all the way into the ninth. And then this was the crippler right here. It's a Leody Taveras grand slam off of Alex Lang, who's off to a very tough start for the Royals. And this broke the hearts of the Kansas City Royals. Orioles with the comeback win down to the last strike twice in the ninth. So that's baseball, though. Sometimes you see games like this, and they're pretty hard to swallow. All right, back in the chat. What is the criteria to determine if it's a swing? Well, Phillips on it. Literally, there is no definition on a check swing other than did the batter attempt to swing or not. I've always felt like, for me, as long as I've played the game, the way that I went about it was like, if your barrel gets to this side of neutral, I call that a swing. If it stays level, no swing. Anything here, no swing. But as soon as it gets past neutral, to me, that was always a swing. I never cared about distance in front of my body or anything like that. But everybody has a different thought on that. So it makes it a little tricky when everybody has a little bit of a different definition. And baseball is definitely the title of game. It's definitely a game of inches. So what do you guys think? He went but pulled it back quick. Looked like he helicoptered on both, went on both, I say. Robert says, first one think he did, second no. I mean, it's awfully close. You know, awfully close. What else we got? Have I looked at Pete at all this year? I saw some chirping about his bat speed being down, the fast swing rate from 53 to 35. Haven't watched Pete yet. I'm not gonna take a dive on him until he does a little something, has like a 2 home run game or something, and then we'll look at all the numbers. We got other stuff to look at. KC needed AO for the manager role. I mean, shit, I could go out there. I could do that. I could do the job. I could get the job done. Salvi, I don't need no stinking mental health day. It's true. Ooh, Jay Buss, you're reading my mind. I'm fired up for this Schlittler start too. You know, boss, he's a masshole. He's from Northeastern like myself, but he's from Massachusetts. Grew up a Sox fan. Now he's got beef with the Sox fans. He's on the Yankees. I can't wait to see that game play out when he toes the rubber in Fenway in the rubber match. They have a check swing challenge system in the minors now that says it's a 45 degrees from the hands to the knob, which is ridiculous. I mean, I have to see what that looks like, but I think it's very hitter friendly, the check swing rule they have in the minors now. I always assumed the check swing was anytime the bat broke the plane of the front of the plate. See, everybody has a different definition. That's what's the tough thing. Don Kim, I like this comment. Intent is the most difficult thing to prove, especially in a court of law. Minor leaguers are currently testing the check swing challenges in the parameters that determine swing or no swing are very much in the favor of hitters. 45-degree threshold, bat knob, past the knob. I mean, from what I've seen, I think it is hitter friendly, so we'll see. I have seen these videos, Dano, of the 60s. I mean, guys were taking full hacks and pulling it back, and they were calling those check swings. So it's crazy. I mean, they're going to have to define it at some point, I think. I think they should. AO, did you see Council's comments that Ohtani's designated player rule is bizarre? That extra player advantage is so important. If yes, Michael should demand 20 DH starts to get a huge value upgrade. I think Lorenzen wants to hit. I think the Rockies could take advantage and make him the designated two-way guy, like Shohei. I'm not going to go as far to say that this rule is bullshit or whatever, but it's a huge advantage, undeniably. I mean, the Dodgers have an extra roster player, basically, because of Shohei, but that's the power of Shohei. It's money, it's excellence, it's more roster spaces. It's all of those things together. Sometimes it's a strike based on the audacity of your idea to swing at how bad the pitch was. Yeah. Some say it's when the wrists roll, others say it's when the barrel moves past the front hip, and others say it's when the bat crosses the front. I mean, that's the thing. Nobody really knows. Nobody really knows yet. Nobody complained about the Ohtani rule when he was with the Angels. Yeah, we did. We did. Of course we did. At least I did. I didn't complain about it. I just said, damn, like that's amazing. He's giving them an extra spot. Can you talk a little bit about Sonny Gray's injuries? Had this happen twice before. Both happened early in the season. Yeah, I saw it was a hamstring. Do we see it happen on the vids, or did he just gets taken out after his last pitches? I know, the old 11 a.m. game in Boston, not always the funnest thing in the world. Perhaps not hydrated enough. Typically, when you hurt yourself early in a game, let's just watch his last batter. Typically, when you hurt yourself late in a game, I mean, with a soft tissue injury, a lot of times not being hydrated is part of it. So I wonder if that's the case with Sonny, just didn't get enough hydration or what. I would assume it's the left leg if it's a hamstring, so it's that lead leg and how he's coming down around and stretching that tissue. But I've never had a hamstring pull, so I don't have a lot of insight on it, except that it's just like any other pull. Some are more severe than others, and that kind of determines the severity of it. But I would say for me, like my hydration was always a big thing, making sure that I was always, making sure I was lengthening my tissues, but also breathing through those stretches and doing isometrics to kind of train the tendons. But I don't know. Some people have chronic injuries that I've never experienced, and I think Sonny might be that guy with the hamstrings, I guess, if he's had this a few times early in years. Not seeing anything there. And then here's the last pitch. Ooh, is it the right leg? Looked like he went and favored the right leg a little bit, no? Ooh, it could be looks like it's almost like a cramp. Yeah, the right leg. Why would the right leg get hurt pitching? That makes no sense to me. Your left leg is the one extending. See, the left leg goes into that, lead leg block position, and the hamstring does take on some effort, but the right leg is just along for the ride. But you see, he goes right for it. So, yeah, I mean, they're saying it's going to be short, but I really have no idea. To me, this is really weird. I don't have a great sense of it. I've never been through this, so sorry, Jane. I can't give you a great answer, but it doesn't look great. Gotta eat those bananas, man. Monkey never cramp. Temperature, okay. Maybe he ran the marathon straight into Fenway to the mound. All right, Spectre, you want to talk about this for a sec? Edwin's injury sitch. What do I got on it? So they're saying it's loose bodies. It sucks, first of all. I mean, flat out, it sucks. This also sucks. Who knew? Iglesias on the injured list. That sucks. All right, let's see what we got here. The Dodgers announced that Edwin Diaz has been placed on the 15-day list with elbow loose bodies. Subsequent announcement said he'll have surgery to adjust the issue. Been a mystery for a while. He averaged 95.7 so far this year. Notable drop from 97.2, but that could have been early. I didn't read too much into the velo early. Dodgers were able to walk that game off in the bottom of the ninth, but Diaz became a question mark. Didn't pitch for over a week. Odds are they knew a week ago that he needed a little time, and then, it just didn't get any better. And the thing about loose bodies is, you can pitch with loose bodies in your elbow for a long stretch of time. You can, but a lot of times what happens is as those things move around in there, wherever, and they could be any different place, they got a lot of bone in there. But a lot of times you see it in the back, and it's from like the banging of the extension of the arm. This is what I think we saw with Mania last year. And then what kind of happens is it limits your ability to get to full extension. Like all of a sudden something's in the wrong spot and becomes painful to fully extend. So then, you see it manifest itself not only in cutting off your pitches a little bit early, but also on the take back. Like you're not able to extend your arm further back. Remember when we looked at Mania last year, he was kind of coming really tight, and it looked like he just didn't have the ability to extend. He stopped throwing his changeup. The ability to extend is going to be very important for Edwin. He throws very out front with his heater, gets that ride shoot, and the slider, he gets a very hard level of extension out there. Why do these things happen? Usually it's because you're putting a ton of force through the system, and your body comes up with ways to protect it. Your body immediately starts creating more calcium. Sometimes spurs are grown. Sometimes they chip off into loose bodies. It's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all type of injury. Sometimes these things are nothing. Guys can have a loose body and pitch forever. Sometimes they need to go in there and clean them out because it doesn't seem like it's improving. Seems like now that Edwin's on this 3-year contract, that's the choice that's been made. They're going to go out there and clean him out. Hopefully it's minor. Hopefully he comes back and he looks like the Edwin of old. No denying it's been a little weird. Probably the communication between the sides the last 10 days. All the reporting was that he's saying he was fine. Dodgers had no idea that he was reporting anything. So in a way, maybe Edwin is thinking to himself, I don't feel great, but I'm not sure what this is. I'll keep pitching. And then, after some poor outings, he's like, you know what, this has been bugging me. Maybe you want to take a look at it and see if there's anything going on in there. And that's when they discovered this. Or they were there since the signing this offseason. They saw them on the MRI then, and it was fine throughout spring, so they kind of ignored it. All of those are possibilities, so it's really hard to speculate on exactly, what went wrong communication-wise and, from a media standpoint the last week with how Edwin was feeling and all that. But if you're going to get hurt, this is the moment. This is not Tommy John. Now, anytime you go on the elbow, it could be a bad thing because you go in there, you move things around, maybe that could lead to more injuries down the road. We've seen that in the past with these types of things. But I do think more often than not, you get this cleaned up, he'll feel really good in, 3 or 4 months. Season will still be going. Dodgers will undoubtedly still be in the race, and you'll get a healthy, hopefully 98, 99 mile an hour Edwin Diaz back. So that's my thought on that, and we'll just have to see. What else we got in here? Loose bodies usually means much more. It doesn't always mean it. It's just every situation is a little bit different. A little bit different. His velo was down even last year, even with better results, and Dave Roberts said they found out about it the same day of testing. I wonder when Diaz felt it, though. I wonder when that, too. Can those loose bodies also hurt nerves and make the pinky and ring finger tingling. That's usually what you feel when you have damage close to your UCL. But again, there's a lot going on in there. There's nerves, there's tendons, there's ligaments, there's muscles, bone. There's all sorts of shit going on in there. So there's a lot of... it's just hard to know, man. Every one of them is different. So if he's affected, why did they let him go on so long? He obviously wasn't pitching well. They have to understand exactly what you're talking about, right? I think they understand it, but again, like a lot of people do pitch with loose bodies. And up until 2 games ago, he was still pitching well. He was still like, mostly getting the job done. He wasn't the sharpest he's ever looked, but up until 2 games ago, he was great. So things change fast. Things change fast. It's just a floating pieces of bone floating around elbow juice. Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. This is the second time communication issues have been a team. Friedman prides himself in communication. Wire threads being pulled. It's also just like pitchers sometimes, especially go to a new team. You want to impress. I mean, I'm just speculating here. I have no idea. But like a lot of times I know as a pitcher, if I was on the fence about whether I felt good or not, I would generally just keep playing because that's what you want to do. You want to post for your teammates. So sometimes you don't speak up right away because you're not sure what you got going on and you think you can work through it and you want to work through it. But then you start to struggle. Maybe the pain gets a little worse and you're like, I can't deal with this anymore. You got to come take a look. Especially if you just got big money. Yeah. But I think he'll be okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with what he's doing. I wouldn't change anything if I were Edwin. I think he'll be back. He'll be okay. He'll be all right. As for this, I don't love this information about Iglesias. This is part of the reason why I'm loving the Braves. I just did a whole thing on Rossiel. They're saying it's because he slept on his shoulder wrong. Well, it's not going to help on those shitty mattresses in that DC hotel. I'll tell you that. That Ritz by the mall there in Pentagon City. Those are some of the worst beds in the league. Everybody has a stiff neck and stiff back after sleeping at that hotel. That sucks. So a couple closers going down. I guess if you're going to have it happen, you'd rather have it happen earlier. But it just kind of stinks. Do I know who's going to close for the Dodgers? No. I know that they said they're going to go by committee here in the early going. Probably a combination of Scott and Vesia, maybe a little Trinan sprinkled in. Still have Suarez. Yeah, Suarez will move into the closing role. Dylan Lee will move into the 8th inning role. Braves will be fine, but, this is one of my favorite guys. I want to see him out there, I really hope Trinan doesn't get the 9th. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Has he looked good in the early going? Not sure. All right. What else do we have on the list? Let's watch some Sal Stewart. I know he raked again yesterday, right? Sal Stewart. Who did the Reds play? This guy continues to be a beast. Young hitter, raking. Played the Rays. Old Sally, baby. He's got 1,000 OPS still on the year. 2 for 4, 2 RBIs, and a dinger. All right, Reds, Rays, Cincinnati Reds, Tampa Bay Rays. Sal Stewart, one of our new faves, as this kid can hit, facing Jesse Schultens. In the Trop. First pitch, slider fouled off underneath that. Sinker next coming in. Perfect pitch, so he is down 0-2 in this at-bat. Slider, then sinker. They're going to go back in on the sinker here. Wow, this is one of the first times I've seen the Rays not just set up down the middle. This is a new setup for the Rays. Flashing the glove where he wants it to start, then he wants it to come finish in here on the inside, but flashing it where he wants it to start. You see what I'm saying? I still need the green. See what I'm saying? Like right in here to right in here. Usually the Rays just set up down the middle, so that's a little weird to see. Great take. Sweeper come in here. Nope.
No go there. In the opposite direction.
Slider here. Nope. So 3 good takes on 0-2, and then he's going to get rewarded from those takes with a dinger.
And a shot to center field.
Man, such a predictable sinker after those misses on those sweepers, too. And Sal Stewart does not miss those.
3-2.
108.5 at 25. Great swing. He does such a good job of both staying inside the ball and using the whole field, but also hitting behind the ball.
And a shot to center field.
Ball's crushed. This kid can freaking hit. I hearken his swing a little bit to Buster Posey, and you see the boys in the dugout are fired up as soon as this ball leaves the bat. Great swing. Great swing by Sal there, and then here's his double versus Trevor Martin here at the end of the game. First pitch sweeper hammered down the line. Take a nice little trot to second. Now, he's an interesting guy because he doesn't have top-of-the-scale bat speed, yet he's hitting for power. I think he's another one with an all-around approach. Another hitter that I kind of want to compare him to a little bit is Vlad. I think he's a good all-around hitter who has power. That's what I would say about Sal Stewart. The man's a hitter's hitter. I think the average will continue to be on the upper side of things, probably at least 270 or higher for the majority of his career. And then on top of that, he hits for power. He's also added in 5 bags this year. What a beast. What a beast. The kid looks good. Let's look at his swing path metrics on Sal. Curious to see him. That's Sal Stewart. All right. Attack angle of 10, 7 degrees oppo. So a very league average attack angle. Vlad's very low on that list, but actually pretty adjustable swing. That means he's right in the middle, but he's not afraid to go the other way. So I like that. I was curious to see that, but I think this kid's good, man. He's huge for the Reds. The Reds would not be nearly as good. They've been waiting for a hitter to actually pop and stay popping, and it's Sal Stewart, in my opinion. You know, for a while there, it was Matt McLean. He's kind of come back to earth a little bit. You know, Encarnacion Strand was a guy for a minute, but I think Sal Stewart's the real deal. So I'm excited for him. Him, Ellie De La Cruz, Tyler Stevenson are the only 3 above league average in ex-Woba, and this is a first-place team at the moment. McLean below average, Steer, Suarez, Ke'Bryan, and Friedel. So they absolutely needed a hitter to go along with the pretty good pitching they have, especially starting pitching. And Sal Stewart is that guy. 419 ex-Woba. The kid's good. The kid can play. The kid can play. All right, what else we got here? All right, we're still talking closers in the chat for the most part, so I'm just going to move forward. Who do I want to look at next? Oh, I never even looked at Lugo from that start. Damn. I feel like that ship might have sailed already. I'll probably look at him. Who else do I have on here? Oh, yeah. Masataka Yoshida, who low-key has been really good. But while we're here, let's watch Rhett Lowder, because he was in this game that Sal just had. Rhett Lowder, rookie pitcher for the Reds. I talked about the Reds. Starting pitching staff, it's pretty deep, even with Hunter Green out. You know, you got Abbott, you got Lodolo, you got Lowder, you got Chase Burns, you got a number of good pitchers in this rotation. So that's one of the reasons why I think they can hang in there and be pretty good this year. Rhett Lowder, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. He's a big-time pitchability guy. 28% sinker, 24% slider, 21% changeup, 20% fastball. Wow. So he's basically quarter of the time, each different pitch. Got all of his whiff on slider, but he's not a big whiff guy. He's going to have to nibble a lot. That's probably what you're going to see. 58% fastball. He's averaging 92. Where are you, Rhett? Let's watch your outing real quick. Chandler Simpson is the first guy. Yeah, we're going to watch Masataka Yoshida right after this guy. All right, infield hit. Put that in your pocket when it's Chandler Simpson. That's the first out, first hit of the game, and then here's Junior Caminero. So it starts off not so good. Infield hit, base hit to left, and a walk. So bases loaded, no outs in the first. Not a great place to be. Let's see what he goes from there. Oh, and he walks in a run. Walks in a run here. So a very bad first 4 batters. Ooh, and he goes to 3-2 on the 5th batter. Before he throws one down, they challenge it. That's a strike all day long. He gets his first out there. Bad challenge here by, who is this batter? Jake Fraley, former Red. Then another called strike here, strike 3 here on the front door sinker to Mullins. That's a nice pitch right there.
One to play with.
2-2.
Bam. And then he's going to wiggle out of it with only 1 run here in the first after he gets a ground out. Then I'm assuming he cooks pretty good after that. All right, 2nd inning. Going to get it out on a 4-seam here, up. Big-time command guy when he's right. So you're going to see most of the fastballs at the top. You're going to see sinkers both sides. You're going to see changeups below into the arm side. You're going to see sliders to the glove side. Here's the changeup down and away. Fly out. Good location there. And then in-play outs on a sinker here to Chandler Simpson. Anytime you get Simpson hit a fly ball, that's a good thing on the mound. Pops it out to Key Bryan. All right, 3rd inning. A lot of deep counts here. Junior Caminero. Wow, what a play by Ellie De La Cruz. And Junior doesn't like it. He's staring at his buddy. 112.6. This is a hell of a play. I mean, I was going to say, this ball is smoked. Look at Ellie with the full extension. That's awesome. And the 2 buddies share a moment there. Slider here, ground ball. First baseman should not have even fielded that, so that's kind of a shitty hit. And he's going to get an immediate double play out of Yandy. Single play, but they'll take the lead out. Wow, they got 2 because Yandy's slow as molasses. Holy cow, how are you not safe on this? Yandy can't run anymore. Plus, Ellie's got a howitzer. Nice throw there. All right, 4th inning. This is interesting. That Phillip just popped up. Sinker out to left, off the wall. So leadoff hit here in the 4th by Fraley. Another 1-pitch out here to Mullins. Carlos Quentin loved to get hit. I'm surprised Mark Canha is not on this list, or Anthony Rizzo, because those guys got hit a ton. But man, hitting 5 straight games is pretty wild. Also must be hanging out with my guy John Jay, who's a coach with the Cardinals, because he used to get hit a lot in that big old ass of his. Slider down. See you later. This is a nice 3-pitch strikeout with a man on 3rd and less than 2 outs. Let's see what he does here. Sinker in, beats him. Who's this? Nick Fortes. Sinker coming again, this time for a strike down, and then wipes him out with a slider away. Beautiful. I like Lowder's hair salad, too. Look at that thing. Got some serious palo on him. And then he's going to get my high school alum friend, Richie Palacios, Berkeley Carroll guy, who flies out to right. He's not happy about it. And then there's one more inning here from Rhett. First pitch change up here. Slap the other way. There's Key Bryan. 2nd out. 3rd time through to Chandler Simpson. Line drive up the middle. So he's got 2 hits. So I love Chandler Simpson's game. I would love to watch him on a daily basis. And then 2-2. Junior Caminero gets him to pop it up. Beautiful there. Looked like that was a pretty good pitch to hit, but didn't get it. And then another out here to end the 5th to Mr. Aranda. Ground ball to Ellie. Nice under control play there by Ellie. Out for the 6th. Yandy Diaz. Ground ball Yandy. Went out there. Really pitching in well with that sinker. Gotten a lot of outs with fastballs in this game. A lot of outs with fastballs, including this last one. 0-2 sinker attempt, front door on Mullins. Goes to the happy accident, up and away, and gets the pop up. So a good outing. Lowder stuff has decreased since college. See, I remember him being like 94, 95 as well. Always a pitchability guy, but it does seem like the velo has dropped a little bit, but that's not really his game. So I think he should be all right, you know? Daniel, I think that's why pitchers are getting promoted so much faster. We understand some of these dudes have their best bullets from 21 to 24. I think that's totally true, man. Plus, you're paying him the league minimum. So if you're going to ride a guy hard physically, why not do it before you're paying him $30 million a year or something, right? I mean, I know the agents won't love that, but, you know, I get it a little bit if you're the team. You know, you got a guy like Paul Skeens right now or Nolan McLean. Like, ride him, man. Ride him. Don't even extend him. Just ride him. See if they can keep it up, you know, in a way. Unless you guys stink, and then maybe pull back a little bit because you're going to need him for the year you don't stink. But those are all real legit things that you think about, you know, which is crazy these days. So Lowder looking pretty good there. Okay, what else did I have on my mind? Oh yeah, Masataka Yoshida. He's next. So it's funny. At the beginning of the year, if you ask any Red Sox fans, they would say this guy has no place on our roster. He should not be on the team. I don't know how he's ever going to play. But you know what? The Red Sox can't hit homers, and they can't score runs right now. And so Mr. Yoshida's pretty useful when he's batting .324, .477, .412 with an .889 OPS. Yes, he has no home runs just like everybody else, but this guy can swing it a little bit. So it does make it interesting how they're going to figure out how to play everybody when this guy's been hitting it pretty good. You see his profile, it's all about he doesn't swing and miss, puts the ball in play, draws plenty of walks, hits the ball hard when he does hit the ball hard, although it's not usually in the air. He's just been a very interesting player on this roster for a while. And, you know, in a way, it's like, can we just get this guy somewhere where he can play every day? Because I do think he might be a pretty good hitter. This is the current situation of Red Sox hitters. Yoshida's not on here because he doesn't qualify. But of the qualifiers, Contreras and Anthony and Abreu, I guess, are the only ones swinging it decent. After that, it's pretty bleak. Cedon, Durbin, Jaron Duran's been really bad. Marcelo's been struggling. Story's been showing signs of turning it around, but that was after an awful start, and Narvaez. So given that backdrop, you got to play Yoshida a little bit more. And that's going to take at-bats away from somebody else. Also going to expose them a little bit versus lefties. They have a similar thing going on to the Mets where they have a ton of talent on this team, but I'm not 100% sure that it fits together, right? Like they have talent, but it's like they don't have the right fit, if that makes sense. Let's look at Yoshida's 2 for 4 yesterday with the 2 walks. Comes up against Flaherty in the first with a walk here.
3-2, that'll miss at his ball.
And then here are the 2 hits left on left. First one off of Tyler Holton in a 3-3 game to get a rally going for the Sox. Look at that little plate coverage, slap up the middle. And I have to say the ABS is going to help Yoshida too. Not a tall guy. Short kings are in. I mean, look at the sides of this. This strike zone is going to be even smaller than this box. This is just for TV. So you got to fit it in there. Plus, he's got some plate coverage. Look at that little one-hander into center. And then he's going to get another hit here in his second at-bat versus Drew Anderson on a changeup. Using the whole field, he's got one of those inside-out swings as well. So I think he's a good hitter. He just has no position. His running form, obviously, is pretty funny. A lot of people like to make fun of that. He's a little bit of like a diesel robot type of guy. But, I mean, are the Red Sox going to be able to take him out of the lineup? The answer is probably no. They're not scoring runs. I mean, look at the leaderboards for teams, league batting. And you go to home runs. Red Sox are tied for last in home runs at 13 home runs on the season, tied with the Giants. This is the Red Sox. You know, they needed power. I know Contreras helped a little bit, but they play in a very good place to homer, especially to left field, obviously. And, you know, if you're not going to hit home runs, the only way to score runs is with a sequence of events, you know, a walk and a double or 3 singles or an error and a hit, you know, like, so it becomes a little harder. You need a bunch of guys to do their part. When you can put some balls out of the park, that's pretty nice. And the Red Sox don't have that right now. 13 home runs as a team. I mean, Judge has 9 on his own. So that's their biggest issue right now. I actually like the talent on their team. They're just not hitting home runs. What about barrels? Where are they at in barrels? At least they have some more barrels, but they're not producing homers. They're more middle of the pack on barrels. Slugging percentage, they are 4th worst. So to me, that's their one weakness as an offense is they need to hit more homers. And I don't know if they have the horses to do that. You're relying everything on Roman, Contreras. I guess Abreu. I mean, they don't really have a ton of power hitters in the lineup. I think it's a little weird. Duran should be able to hit some. That's why I would have liked Alonso on this team. I know they have Contreras, but why not both, you know? Or retain, I don't know. Something about it. You know, I don't think Durbin's going to hit a lot of home runs. So I think that's the biggest issue with the Sox right now. Yeah, and maybe they wasted them all on the WBC. Good point, Gene. But right now we're seeing it. And I think it's absolutely similar for the Mets. Tyrone actually swinging well, probably needs to see some more game time. But like, do you sit Benj? Do you send Benj back? How do you get the hot guys in the lineup when they're not the guys that you're expected to play? So I think it's a little bit of an interesting thing. Team is bottom 5 in average launch angle. That's also surprising because they have Driveline running their system. It's all pull side fly balls. You would think that they'd be better at that, but yet it hasn't happened. So do I think they trade an outfielder? I mean, at some point, perhaps. I mean, they definitely have that log jam. There's no denying it, right? Definitely have that log jam for real. All right, what else is on the list? I might do these prospects now. I feel like we've covered a lot of Major League Baseball. Who else did I have on the list, though? I had Matt Olson. We'll do a quick check-in on him. He's off to a great start. He's part of the reason why the Braves are so good early. This is like, you know, the young core that they have that they all locked up everybody with. And it starts with Matt Olson. Now, for me, Matt Olson is, top 5 first baseman in the game, and he has been for a long time. And I'm taking into account the fact that he plays every freaking game. He's on the streak. He hits homers. He plays Gold Glove caliber defense. And I also know from facing him, not a very fun at bat. Now, he was one of my last strikeouts in MLB, so you're in the book, kid. But he also absolutely rakes. He's off to a nice start. 278, 365, 589, 954 OPS with 6 homers. He did hit a nuke last night. And when he hits them, he freaking hits them. You know, I mean, really does. Atlanta versus Washington. Matty Olson, home run number 6 off Jake Irvin. Let's watch this entire at-bat. I don't think this will stick around, Phil. Do you guys think that Austin Riley will continue to be a sub 800 OPS hitter? I feel like he's outstanding as well. And I expect him to bounce back, hopefully this year. Olson's so underrated. I mean, look, if you're gonna not re-sign Freddie Freeman, this was the next best case. In my opinion, it's the younger version. Obviously, he's not quite, it's close, but he's not quite as good a hitter as Freddie. But, arguably a better defender, younger. You're going to have him right through the right phase of his career, and then watch this bomb. Wham! Dead center on a sinker down. 108.6 at 26. He doesn't hit a lot of oppo homers, although he has decent oppo power. But really hard guy to face. The guy smashes baseballs. He's one of their homegrown core. Now, this is something new with his swing, I want to say. The pigeon-toed front foot, a la Greg Vaughn. Check that out. I'll do it with the red. Well, the red's not very good either. Now it just looks brown. Hold on. Let's back that up. Let's go back to the pen. See, there's the pigeon-toed front foot, kind of keeping the front hip closed a little bit early. Maybe he was having a hard time leaking out that front hip a little bit. I'm wondering. Was he doing that early in the at-bat too? Yeah, even with nobody on. So that's the move now. It's gotten more simple. All he does is start pigeon-toed. Goes heel up. There's like a double weird load here with the front foot. What am I seeing here? You guys seeing anything weird with this front foot? Hey, Max. I'm great. How are you? Thanks for being here. Anyway, here's the home run swing again with that front foot, which I find interesting. But he's always had a great follow-through. Head down. Bat wrapping around. Everybody says he's a great dude, too. Like my guys Bassett and Manai, who played with him in Oakland, all said he was the best. So big fan of Matty Olson and what the Braves are doing early, myself included. I was a little worried about the Braves, but they're off to the best start in baseball. Big thanks to Bryce Elder and some of the other pitchers. Yeah, man, Braves are raking. Braves are raking. If they can get Riley going, it'll be even scarier. Dom Smith, Michael Harris, Ronald Acuna Jr., Matt Olson, Drake Baldwin, all in red. Riley's right there, 333. He's getting closer. He's getting warmer. Dubon, Albies, and Yastrzemski pulling up the rear. Here is Austin Riley at a 709 OPS, so hasn't gotten much to fall yet. Says he should be at a 333. Expect ex-Woba here. I find it hard to believe he won't be over 800 OPS. I mean, this guy's one of the better right-handed hitters that I've watched up close. And he's only 29. So, I don't know what's going on. Whiff percentage, let's go back to what has changed over the years. Well, he's always had whiff. He's always had K. He's actually walking more now. Chase rate got better over the years. That's weird. Bat speed slightly down. Hard hit slightly down. Exit velo's down. So that's hurting him a little bit. So just not hitting the ball as hard yet. No noticeable drop off in athleticism with the sprint speed. Playing better defense now. I still believe in him. He's Austin Riley. He's Austin freaking Riley, man. He's going to be good. We'll see. All right, what else we got here? What did Bradfo say about, I was with Rob last night. What did he say about Giolito? Is Giolito still in play with the Red Sox? I mean, I don't know. Hello? Somebody here?
Yeah, she just wants to see behind the desk.
That's fine. Hi.
See?
How are you?
Oh, wow.
Who's biggest surprise for you so far team-wise? Probably the Pirates. I was a little bit of a Pirate denier to open the year, so I'd say Pirates. Braves a little bit because of the starting pitching injuries. I guess Miami a little bit, but nobody's really separated themselves yet. Did that story of Freeman's agent withholding the Braves' final offer turn out to be BS? Yeah, I think it was maybe BS, but I don't really know a whole much about it. I know there was some, I don't know, that was a whole situation. In a way, I kind of thought the Braves maybe wanted it to happen, like they wanted to lowball him and go get Matt Olson, the younger version, but maybe I'm wrong, and if I don't know the facts, I'm not really going to speak on it. Theory is the pigeon-toed stance creates a closed stance which helps maintain a coiled, powerful upper body for a longer time. I like that. I like the pigeon toe. I even tried it a little bit when I was younger. You know, Paul O'Neill used to pigeon toe and then do that little kick load. But I remember Greg Vaughn in particular who would go double pigeon toes and then hit. So that was interesting. But, you know, it's all been done before, but it's cool to see the little bit of adjustments that guys make year over year. Matt Olson being a big one. Bradford went to Florida, did a piece with Gio. Gio says he can pitch 5 innings right now. That's because he's at Cressy, so he's throwing to hitters all the time. I was where Gio was last year, so his arm's good to go. It's just wild. Still hasn't gotten his value yet. I wonder how long this can drag, you know? I know the Padres had some interest, Cubs. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So there's 2 prospects that I dialed up to look at today. Over on Synergy, which will probably make my make this live stream not monetizable, but I don't really care. Oh no, where did my piece of my Apple Pencil just fell off? I gotta find it. It's somewhere here on the floor. Shit. Whatever, now's not the time. So the first guy we're gonna look at is a hitter from Virginia who's gone off. Mr. Gracia, I believe is his name. Am I wrong here? AJ Gracia. AJ Gracia, left on left, University of Virginia. This guy's been going off, was a transfer in, and he's been absolutely raking, getting himself in the conversation for the very, very tippy top of the first round. And it's all in the strength of his hitting. So I want to watch him rake a little bit. Yeah, he was a Duke guy before. Now he's at UVA, and he has gone absolutely off this year. He was also on the U.S. national team, so it's not a guy that people didn't know about. But let's watch his extra base hits. 20 of those for Mr. Gracia here, AJ Gracia. Here we go. Ooh, a little open stance swing and move. It's a lefty Taylor Ward swing, slightly more open. Hits a little left on left breaking ball for a hit there. Where is this pen piece? How did I just lose this? Dang it, Adam. That's what you get for screwing around. I missed this homer. Let me watch it. Duke to UVA. That's two pretty good schools. I'm also seeing a little bit of Ben Gamble in the swing. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, he's in the show. That's an Oppo Taco. Nice swing. Nice swing right there from AJ Gracia.
So he knows this park. He knows he can get out of here. 2-2 count. He'll swing and drive.
I mean, it's basically Ben Gamble without the leg kick. There's a little bit of Taylor Ward in there with that low leg hang forward move. That's what I'm seeing right now, at least. Man, smashing balls Oppo into center. Here's a one off Notre Dame to dead center. Nice swing. The Yankees pen struggles. At some point, do you think they try Lagrange in the pen? Sure, but not yet. Not yet. I would say, eventually you'll see that happen, undoubtedly. But not yet, because they have to continue to develop Lagrange as a starter because he has ace upside. But at some point, if the Yankees need rescuing in the pen, I mean, it's going to be hard to resist a guy who's going to live like 102, 103 out of the pen with good off-speed pitches. Head coach went from Duke to UVA as well. Stroman's brother there as well. So he transferred also. Was he at Duke and then to UVA, or did he commit to Duke and then switch to UVA? I don't know. There's a line drive double off the wall.
Strength in his frame. Sometimes I want him to swing more. Yeah.
I mean, the swing's pretty simple, but it's a little unique with the way he kind of just like dead hangs the leg in front and then kind of comes from the side. I'll see if I can get a side view on him. That ball's mashed. And gone. All right, no side angle on this one. We'll continue to wait for one.
Gracia trying to change that. On a 1-1. He swings and drives one. Left field.
Yeah, are these metal bats juiced? 'Cause that ball really flew to left right there. Oh, William and Mary. Colonial Athletic Conference. Smashed in the left center field gap. Yeah, I know Marcus Stroman was at Duke, but I think his brother had originally committed to Duke. I don't know if he went there for a year and then went to Virginia, or whether he or what happened. Ooh, we do have this. Right-handed, left-handed hitter open. No, not left-handed pitcher, left-handed hitter. So now we do get a left-handed, we get a look at Gracia from the side here. Here we go. Here's the swing from the side. Very upright. I like it. Interesting view for sure. Interesting view for sure. Ooh, that's at VCU. Is that at, yeah, that's at Richmond Ballpark where the Flying Squirrels play.
Against Gracia. And this one is driven deep to
Here's VCU in Virginia, though. Out to left. That ball's gone. They have nice uniforms. I like Virginia's uniforms. I actually went to their camp in high school. That would have been a good place for me, I think. Line drive to left. That'll play. So he's using the whole field. Actually, a lot of his dingers have come to center. So that's impressive to see. And he's definitely moved up a lot of draft boards this year. As he's got silly numbers this season, this kid. No way that ball burns a center fielder. That's insane. It doesn't look like he's hitting it that hard. His bat speed doesn't look that fast, but yet he's getting massive extra base hits.
Another freshman right-hander. Down the line and
pretty steep, pretty uphill attack angle, I think, or at least swing tilt.
His second double of the ball game.
Oh, left on left. See you later versus North Dakota. North Dakota State. Is Stroman still in the big leagues? No, he's not playing right now. I don't know if he's still going or not going. I don't know. I think he's living in California. I haven't seen anything on Marcus in a while. These are all extra base hits. So he has 20 of these. A lot of these are homers. A lot of these are homers. And a lot of them are oppo. So that's actually pretty dang impressive. Change up coming. Wham. This one's pull side. So he goes 2 homers off this guy. Poor guy. Pitcher doesn't look too happy about it. Man, he owned this series against Monmouth. It's a home run to center. So he homered every field in this showing. All right, that's it for AJ Gracia. Interesting to watch that swing. I know that's kind of what he's all about. We need to reset all that. Now we're looking for a pitcher. This is an electric arm out of high school, Florida high school, Gio Rojas. Now, I'm just going to put some punchies from this guy when I see him. He literally, do we have any 2026? We only have really 2025. So I'll just show you a little bit of 2025. But this guy's heater and athleticism and the way the ball jumps out of his hand is pretty electric. So that's why this high school lefty is so high on the board. It's Gio Rojas. People are saying he can go as high as top 5. He's got a good slider and a good heater, and the ball just absolutely flies out of this kid's hand with I mean, look at that. I'm trying to think who I would even compare him to. Maybe like a Jesus Luzardo, but maybe even more athletic and more whippy, if that makes sense. I mean, this guy might be a 100-mile-an-hour starter as a lefty when he gets to the big leagues. So this is another prospect we're looking at. This is the rare, dynamic lefty high school starter that you see that's going to go in the top 10 picks of the draft. I mean, that's like 98 right there, by the way. We're seeing it in kilometers per hour right here. 151. I need a conversion. This is him pitching for USA versus Korea. There's the changeup. See you later. Yeah, maybe Chapman. Honestly, you're kind of right. There's a little bit of Araldis in here with how fluid he is and how flexible he is. Okay, so Jaden decommitted to Duke after Chris Pollard took the job in Virginia. There you go. It makes sense. 155 KPH is 96 MPH. Okay. So he was coming in around that number. There's a fastball up. See you later. This is USA baseball here. More USA baseball we're watching. You can see this fastball is a freaking cheese. I'm high on this guy. I mean, I know that, everybody's a project, but this guy, just the arm talent, the athleticism I'm seeing in this delivery, I would love to work with a kid like this. If he can get it straightened out, he has a chance to be special. He's one of my favorite high school pitchers I've seen in a while. Very similar to Seth Hernandez, just from the left side, in my opinion. Got a little sail in there, not as low of a slot, but there's a slinginess to it for sure. Plus, he's played a lot of good competition for his age because he's from South Florida, so that always plays well. Ayo, have you seen the ASU lefty throwing 101 in his last start, Cole Carlton? No. I'll take a quick look, though, at the end if you want, and then we'll do probables after that. What do you guys feel about this delivery? I mean, I'm loving it. Wonder if I can get a side view of the deliv. Left-handed pitcher open. Here it is. This is a fastball, 93. So let's watch it from the side. I like it, man. I like his delivery. It's super easy. Free momentum. This is something that I truly believe in. I've been thinking about it a lot more. I was looking at a graph from a mocap the other day. Actually, look at that. Look at that chest, how open that chest is, and the scaps pinch back, creating amazing hip-shoulder separation with ease. And then the ball just rides in there. It's not an aggressive lead leg block. That scares me. I think he's got a little cushion built in there. But anyway, the thing I was talking about is at the peak of your leg lift, if you can become weightless, Like you have a moment where you're kind of weightless and then you drop, into your drift, into your lower leg, into your back leg. After that weightlessness, that allows you to put more force into the ground quickly, which will translate to more power. That's something that thinking back on it now, I think I felt that when I threw my absolute hardest. There was a moment of like and then a drop in and go. So, I don't know. I think it's very interesting when you watch a guy that throws natural cheese like Gio Rojas here, and you see there's that moment where he lifts his leg and he kind of gets weightless for a moment, and then all of a sudden it snaps in and the cheese comes. So this is him in high school. Stoneman Douglas High School, I believe it's called, which is a big time baseball factory down there in like believe Fort Lauderdale area. And these high school kids got no shot against a guy who's going to go top 5 in the draft. I mean, he should be striking out like 15 plus every game. So that's probably what you're going to see in his outings. Just having a fun time punching tickets. Wham! I mean, that's not even close. That pitch is way in. But that's the high school zone for you. Are you suggesting ballet for pitchers? I think ballet would be good for any athlete, to be honest with you. Work on that turnout like my daughter, and then get a little more graceful out there. So not a bad idea. My dad used to talk to me about that when I was a kid. I think that's where Rizzo and Roman and maybe not Roman, Rizzo and I think maybe, was it Casas and Vientos, all those guys somewhere. And then they had the mass shooting there too, which was obviously super sad. He lands comfortable. I think he's great. I think I'm very high on this kid. Some of the recent mock drafts have him going very, very high. MLB Draft 2026. Where was the one I was just looking at? The USA Today mock draft. Rock, Grady Emerson. We've already looked at him. So Rock, Grady. Oh, no. Rock, Grady, Flora, we looked at him. Lombard, we just looked at him. And then there's Gio Rojas, Majory Stoneman Douglas High School. Stacking, developing, and shipping elite young arms to Pittsburgh has been working out okay for the Pirates. It might be too tough to pass on this. Another one, a prep lefty who sits 97 with his fastball and is uber athletic. We've already looked at Von Lackey and Justin LeBron. So those are, and Gracia now. Those are all the guys in the top 8. We've looked at all of those guys. And we'll continue to check them out as we continue. Unless you're Timothy Chalamet talking shit about ballet. We don't fuck with that. We like ballet around this house. Mike Piazza trained with Miami City Ballet. Wow, interesting. He does seem like a Pirates pick. All right, we're going to do probables, and then I'm going to say goodbye for today. This was a solid stream, about 2 hours of work from everybody today. Big appreciate everybody being with me. And tomorrow we'll be back at it. On Wednesday, the stream will probably be backed up a little bit. I have a thing at my daughter's school, so expect a little bit later start time tomorrow, but we will get it in. And I'll put that up on the Discord and everything once I figure that out. All right, here we go for today, Tuesday, April 21st matchups. Ryan Weiss and Parker Messick as the Astros at the Guardians today. Parker Messick coming off a near no-hitter. Reds Rays, there's Chase Burns and Steven Matz. Nice pitching matchup from the Trop today. Chase Burns might look filthy on that camera angle, so we'll check that tomorrow. Cardinals, Marlins, Dustin May, Chris Paddock from Miami. Brewers, Tigers, Kyle Harrison has looked great in the early going. And Kiter Montero has also looked great in the early going. It'll be interesting to see what happens when Verlander gets healthy. Because Montero's saying, I want to be in this rotation for good. Braves, Nats, Ronaldo, Lopez, Foster, Griffin. Ronaldo Lopez also. Another one of those starters that we worried about a little bit health-wise. He's been fine so far. Foster Griffin's been good. We might want to check in on him. Yanks Sox from Fenway. Luis Heel, fighting for his life in the rotation because a lot of reinforcements are on the way. Garrett Cole's already on his rehab assignment. And he might be a bullpen candidate. But anyway, he's making the start today. He's pitched very well versus Boston in his career. Connolly early as well for the Sox. He's probably my favorite Red Sox pitcher at the moment. Twins, Mets. Can the Mets stop the streak? They're facing Simeon, Woods, Richardson, and Nolan McLean. You got to think this matchup favors the Mets. Let's see how it turns out. Orioles, Royals, Shane Baz, Chris Bubik in Kansas City. Royals kind of desperate to start playing a little bit better baseball. They get another shot tonight. Phillies at Cubs. Luzardo, Imanaga. Great matchup here. Luzardo needs to bounce back a little bit. He's had a couple clunkers. Imanaga's looked great in the early going. Pirates, Rangers, Moldinsky, who's been great this year, goes TBA versus the Rangers in Texas. Padres, Rockies, Randy Vasquez looking to keep the good times rolling for the Padres. They are in Coors tonight with the TBA for the Rockies. Wonder if Dolander will be in this game. Jays, Angels, Corbin, and Kashanwitz from Anaheim. Jays looking to win another one in a row. A's, Mariners, Jacob Lopez, Luis Castillo from T-Mobile out there in Seattle. Castillo hasn't been great early. White Sox, D-backs, Sean Burke, Merrill Kelly from the Desert. And then our last game of the night, our other rivalry game is Dodgers at Giants. Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Landon Roop, who we watched his last start, has been pitching awesome. So that should be a good pitching matchup tonight from the Bay. Giants trying to get back in it. Maybe seeing their rival will help, or maybe it will just bury them further. Unclear, but we will see and we will find out. Hope you guys are all great. That was a really fun. We just talked about Sensatella yesterday. Jay Bussey's looked great. I think reliever was a great change for him. So TBA for the Rocks is probably Bernardino Dolan. There we go. And I could definitely use some Dolander in my day. He's been awesome in the early going. All right, that's it for the stream today. You guys have been awesome. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please hit me with some likes. We've been topping around 49, 50-ish likes per day. We could do better than that, but if not, it's all good. I'll see you guys tomorrow no matter what. And thanks for hanging with me all day on the stream. I thought we had a good one today, so appreciate it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, have a great day, everybody.